Okay, I think it's going to work. We've made several more rounds. It's laying nice and flat now. I just had to do a little extra work on these first few corners, but like I suspected, when it got bigger, the corners got easier. Again, I'm not sewing my rope. I am winging it here. And if you've ever heard that expression, all hands on deck, this is all fingers on deck. But it does work. I still got a bunch of little bit at the corner, but I think the biggest secret or trick or tip or however you want to look at it is keeping this flat and this flat as you sew. I wasn't sure how it was going to come out on the corners because I had to scrunch so much at first, but it really does look nice. And it really does lay nice. So again, you can probably see my little buckle here. That really is all I have to scrunch now. It's getting big enough around the corners I don't have to do all that scrunching. But I'm using all of my fingers to keep it nice and lined up, simply because I didn't sew my rope. So it does make it a whole lot trickier to deal with. You're just doing a little bit at a time. And then go back, using all my fingers. I'm keeping this flat, I'm keeping this flat, and I'm having to keep my rope folded over too. Again, I'm not pushing or pulling as I'm sewing. I'm just letting the machine go do its thing. I merely have my fingers laid on here just to keep everything lined up. There's no pressure. And it really has laid nice and flat. It is amazing. And I like the puffiness. You get a lot more puffiness when you don't sew your rope. I might have to go back and maybe stitch over a couple of these corners just for reassurance, for my own peace of mind. But for the most part, it really turned out amazing. I'll go around a couple more corners just to show you how much work it is when you don't sew your rope. All fingers on deck. No pushing, no pulling. Just let the machine ease it around. And I don't really feel like you save a lot of time by not sewing your rope, because it takes twice as long to sew your rug, because you have to go a lot slower. You have to hold everything in place. And I'm not going to lie, when I first started, I thought, oh, this ain't going to work. But just because you have to do so many different things at one time to make it all come together. But once you get it going, it isn't bad. Kind of like it. Getting it started was the hardest part. And my shirt says skins. I got this at the thrift store the other day for 50 cents. And it was, we are the Redskins at my school. And this was one of the old sweatshirts. So I thought, well, I'm going to give it a try. And of course, our colors are red and black and white. So all my scrap fabric, this is what we came up with. Kind of like it. Keeping it all flat when you sew it. That's the secret to all your rugs, is to keep it flat. Keep everything flat. Your work surface and your rope has to be flat. And I thought at first I was going to have to go back and iron, but honestly, if you start it and sew it correctly, your rug never needs to see an iron. And I think we're going to be okay. So I hope you enjoyed it.